Chris here, and welcome to my channel. In today's 5 on Friday, I'm going to share with you my top 5 books of March. So as a reminder, these do not include books that I have another dedicated video for, such as 5-star predictions or seasonal covers, because I will be going into them in more depth in those videos, so they'll already be highlighted, and it also doesn't include rereads, because if I'm rereading it, I already know whether it was a 5-star or not. So that being said, the first book I'm going to talk about for the month of March was Show Us Who You Are by Elle McNichol, and this was a 5-star. So this is a middle grade kind of sci-fi contemporary, and we're following Cora, who is neurodivergent, and she lives with her dad and her older brother, and her older brother works for this company that specializes in AI. She ends up going to a party and meeting the CEO's son, Adrian, and a friendship develops from there, and Adrian is very against what his dad's company does. As Cora looks into it, she realizes what they're doing is developing AI of humans who have passed on, or like celebrities, and she's not quite sure how she feels about it, but she's curious because she's lost her mom, and there's part of her who wonders what it would be like to be able to interact with her mom again. So she kind of starts to get involved, and things go from there, and she learns that maybe Adrian had a good reason to not like what his dad's company was doing. So this book made me very uncomfortable, but I think it was supposed to, with the idea of you're making this copy of somebody, and how would you feel if you were making a copy of it, and all of the things that could go into creating like copies of somebody, because like I've lost people, and the idea of being able to have one more interaction with them, one more conversation, one more moment, I can't imagine that's not appealing to anybody who's lost somebody and misses somebody. But at the same time, I can't imagine an AI ever being able to capture who they really were. And it, to me, would always feel like it would be missing that spark, that thing that made them who they were. So it is definitely, I think, supposed to make you uncomfortable, this idea, especially considering like the idea of, oh my God, I could meet, Justin Timberlake or Lady Gaga or President Obama. Like, the idea that you can make copies of celebrities too who are still living, but like are famous, so you get a chance to meet them, but is it really them if it's not actually them? And then, of course, you're seeing it from the perspective of Cora, who is autistic, and Adrian, who has ADHD, and I think it gives a very different perspective on the idea of AI, because they kind of tackle it in a very different way. I really, really loved the autistic rep in this. I, again, am finding more and more as I read characters who are autistic, how much I identify with them. And it makes me sad that I didn't have these books when I was a middle grader, because maybe I would have realized then what I've realized now. But I really like seeing Cora's thought process and seeing her and Adrian's conversations about it, because I think that's a very important part of this book. And I loved how it played out. I've actually pre-ordered the paperback, because it is the first time I've gone through a book and wanted to go, oh, I want to remember that line, and like tab it up. And I'm not somebody who usually does that, so I absolutely wanted a copy so that I could kind of make some notes on a reread of things that really struck me and stuck with me, both from a perspective of somebody who is autistic and somebody who is kind of dealing with grief. So 5 stars, highly recommend. Elle McNichol is now absolutely 100% an auto-read author for me. The second book on my list is A Rover Story by Jasmine Orga, and I gave this book 5 stars. So this is another middle grade sci-fi, and we're following a rover named Resilience who is going to be headed to Mars. And Rez is a little different. He kind of develops emotions, and that makes things a little different for him than other rovers who have explored Mars or explored space. We also see this interspersed with letters that are written to Rez from the daughter of one of the scientists who helped kind of program Rez. And I think that is quite interesting, because it's giving you a human aspect and kind of showing you just how long Rez is on Mars as we see the growth of this child. So I think that absolutely added to the environment of the story. I grew really, really attached to Rez and Rez's journey, and seeing how they responded to everything that was going on to them, and how they handled situations based on the emotions that they had. It was just a fascinating look at the idea of what if a rover developed feelings. And it was a brilliant read, and I absolutely adored every minute of it. And it was really enjoyable to have this new sci-fi that explored human emotions in a different way. Next, I read Best Friends for Never by Colleen A.F. Venerable and Stephanie Yu, and I gave this book 5 stars. This is the sequel to Katie the Cat Sitter, and this is a graphic novel series that follows Katie, who ends up cat sitting for her upstairs neighbor who has 217 very unique, very special kitties, and soon wonders if their owner might be a supervillain that is running amok in her town. Obviously, with this being the sequel, I can't really talk about it, but it dwells a lot more on Katie and her friendships and kind of navigating that in this one, though it's still got all of the same charm and things that I loved about the first book. I actually own the first book, and here is a look at all of the kitties. I mean, like, this isn't even all of them. Like, it's not even close to being all of them, but it gives you an idea of just how many cats there are and of the art style, which I also really enjoyed. I love superheroes. I love that there are cats involved, and I love getting to see Katie's journey throughout this one and how it expands on the way the first book happened. And like I said, that it really kind of delves in to the importance of friendship and the struggles of friendship, especially with somebody who is Katie's age. So I thought that was kind of nice that in this superhero kind of fantasy book that we also got to see some real human emotion and, you know, stuff that any kid could be going through. So I really enjoyed the sequel and am very much looking forward to reading book 3. Then I read Queer Ducks and Other Animals by Elliot Sheffer, and I gave this book 5 stars. So this is a nonfiction book that kind of looks at the animal kingdom and looks at the different kind of relationships that are built there and kind of the diversity of, you know, sexual behavior that we see in the animal kingdom and how it is very similar to the way we humans act. And I really, really loved how this was kind of laid out. The audiobook was fantastic. There are little graphic novel, like comic strip kind of things interspersed throughout the book, which I thought also added to the way this author decided to tell the story of these animals. And it was really, really fascinating to see all of the various ways in which the animal kingdom kind of expresses its sexuality and the similarities that you can see in people and how, you know, we as humans kind of relate to that. Absolutely fascinating book. I would highly, highly recommend it if it's something that sounds interesting, and I feel like I learned quite a bit about the diversity in the animal kingdom. So was really glad I decided to pick this up and dive into it. And then the last book I'm going to mention is Otter by Katherine Applegate. This was another 5 stars. So this is following an otter named Otter, and we kind of get to see her go on her journey. And she is living off the coast of California, and she ends up coming face to face with a great white shark, and it kind of changes everything about her life. And this is inspired by the true story of the Monterey Bay Aquarium program. And I thought that was quite interesting that it was kind of inspired by this program. And this is a thing that happens in real life, and we kind of get to see a glimpse of that. It's also told in kind of verse. So it's a fast read. I really got attached to Otter, and it was fascinating seeing her journey and getting to see how things work for otters in the wild, and knowing that there are humans out there who are trying to protect them and, you know, get them back into the wildlife, or if they can't be put back into the wild, taking care of them. It also has one of my favorite tropes with an animal POV. I love animal POVs, as anybody who's been following my channel for a while knows. And Otter was an exceptionally cute one. I really, really enjoyed her journey and getting to see all of the things that she went through and all of the struggles that she went through and seeing how that affected her. And it was just, it was such a good read. And Katherine Applegate does it again. She is absolutely amazing at writing books that I end up adoring. So there you have it. Those are my top 5 books of March. I would love to know what your favorite book was that you read in March. Let me know in the comment section below. All of my social media is linked in the description below if you'd like to come chat with me. If you made it this far in the video, leave me planet emojis, like space emojis. There's got to be some. Like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!